all your stuff. What can figure it out? That's how it chooses you.
Oh my God, we're so professional.
We're so good at this now. It only took 7 months. Hi.
Hello.
So, Texas did not go blue.
No, it did not.
But Georgia?
Yeah.
I mean, there needs to be a recount. The margin is like under 10,000. There should be a recount.
Yeah.
That's legitimate.
Yeah,
like, the
definitely.
recount should happen. But holy shit, Georgia.
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah. I know. They did it.
I mean, well, yeah, like, once again, white people's asses are saved by the resilience and persistence of people of color in the South. Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks again. So sorry.
Yep.
We couldn't get it together other places. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
That's right. That's
Jesus.
right.
Yeah. I was excited. I'm not excited the way I was excited when Obama was elected. I danced in the street that night.
We were together when Obama
that's
was
right.
elected.
Yes.
We were at our friend Alana's house, which is very close to downtown Boulder. I was just reminiscing about this last night.
Yeah.
Because I was watching videos of the parties happening all over the world right now in honor of Biden's being elected president. And I was nostalgic for that night. We just spontaneously ran out into downtown Boulder and danced in the street. We were stopping traffic. The cars were all honking. Everyone was excited.
Emily was on her bike riding circles around the group of us walking.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was really fun.
That was a good night. So I don't have those feelings because, let's face it, Joe Biden is another old white man. Yay! He's just not a Nazi.
Right.
Thank God, not a Nazi.
But Kamala Harris is the first woman.
Yes.
The first Black person.
Yes.
And the first Asian American person to be elected vice president. So that is something to celebrate for sure.
That is also wonderful. Her prosecutorial record is real questionable, and I'm not a big fan, so I hope she's never president. No offense to that, but yeah. I have serious issues with the whole ticket, just not as serious as I have with the Nazis, who were the other ticket. So I'm fine. It's a win. It's a small win, but it's a win. I'm in a good mood. Yeah.
Yeah.
My God. Well, the thing is, it's not like my parents, and I think we talked about this a little bit last week. My parents voted for the Republican governor of West Virginia, who has been in goose step with Trump all along, right? And so I don't know, like, they both had, like, my mom was an operating room nurse. There's some intelligence that comes with that position. Like, lives were in her hands, you know? And yet she's not able to look at a system and say, well, if I support all the little pieces of the system, it actually makes the big piece possible. She's not able to either make that leap, or she wants to say, well, I didn't vote for Trump. Meanwhile, she's making all of these shitty down ticket choices. So, I don't know what it is, but both of my parents voted for an incredibly questionable person. And,
Do you all talk about politics?
Oh, we can't. Oh, well, sorry. I'm not listening to you because I'm spun up. We don't talk about politics because, like, even though they lived through the late 60s, they were in a large group of Americans of that age who didn't actually live through the 60s. They, like, did nothing. It was just sort of happening around them, I think. And so when we talk about politics, it's usually me being very loud and very forceful and demanding that they explain themselves and their bad choices. Which is not good parenting, but that's okay because I'm not their fucking parent. Like, it's supposed to go the other way, you know? Right. They're unwilling to accept that white people have a structural advantage in this country. And I don't know why they're unwilling to accept it. It seems so blatantly obvious once you start looking at any kind of more than cursory history, right? Yeah. Anything deeper than the surface. And it's like, oh shit. All of these things I have are deliberate results of, a system that is structured to make me have them and at the expense of other people. So I don't know why they won't look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But let's not talk about my parents. Let's not waste a beautiful Sunday morning talking about the politics of 70-year-olds in West Virginia.
Well, some people start book clubs. We, on the other hand, have accidentally started a video game club.
Mm-hmm.
And by accidentally, I mean I copied you. And I purchased Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yes.
And we've both been playing this week. We haven't discussed it too much, really.
Oh my god, I played for 7 hours yesterday.
I play a lot.
I keep looking out the window and it's like a beautiful day and I'm like, I should really go outside. Just one more quest. Oh, I should really... Ooh, look, the leaves are so... No, I should... One more quest.
So I've been enjoying that. Felicia Day, when she plays it on her Twitch stream, calls it stabbing butts.
Oh, yes.
Because when you assassinate someone, you're basically stabbing them in the butt.
Yeah, it's the best.
With whatever implement of destruction you have selected.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've really been enjoying it. It's a beautiful game. The story isn't as strong as other games I've played, but I just enjoy the game mechanism so much and the gameplay so much that...
Yeah.
I am enjoying the story. I'm not trying to shit on it. It's not as strong as some other games I've played, but I'm having a great time playing it.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a fighty game.
Yeah.
With an occasional puzzle and a little bit of story, rather than a story game with an occasional fight, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And it definitely, for me, the right amount of challenging.
Uh-huh. Are you playing easy as well, or did you up it?
I'm playing normal.
Oh, okay.
My pride... I'm too proud to play on easy. I don't know why. I was attacking this fort yesterday and...
Which fort?
I don't know the name. It's
on... What country are you in?
It's close to Delphi.
Yeah, okay. You're in Fokis.
Yes, Fokis. Thank you. I'm in Fokis. I was attacking a fort. The one where the old friend of yours has lost some sapphires to some crazy priests.
Yeah.
And he wants you to retrieve them.
Yeah.
And it was very challenging.
Yeah.
And they lit that brazier several times and brought more soldiers in. And I thought, well, at least they're easy dudes to beat. So I just kept... And I ran off and hid for a minute and a fucking bear attacked me. And I was like, God damn it, this is the worst day in Fokis.
Yeah. Yes, I know that fort. Yeah.
So I had to try that one several times, but it just felt like the right amount of challenging. I'm enjoying it. I also have a background, sort of a pretty liberal arts background in education, and so I really enjoy the ancient Greece, all the references and the history. Like, I'm so excited that I'm going on an adventure with Herodotus, because I've read Herodotus and he's an amazing historian and storyteller. So I'm just nerding out a little bit too. So there's certainly that is a piece of the appeal. But I also saw that they have one that's Valhalla, which I assume is North.
It's coming
Norse.
Soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that too, because that's another particular mythology that I enjoy. Know less about, but enjoy.
I wanted to ask do you think they paid John Hurt for his likeness for Herodotus? I looked at it, I was like, that's John fucking Hurt. What the hell's going on right now? Oh my God. Hey, John, how you been? I guess I gotta go meet John Hurt at the hot gates. I'll be back in a little bit.
He has the kindest face.
Mm-hmm.
They made his face so kind, and I just trust him, which probably means he's going to betray me at a certain point. I should also say that the game gives you several opportunities to flirt throughout.
Oh yeah,
and I've not done it because my latent fear of rejection is rearing its ugly head. Because I thought, I don't know, the line they're giving me to flirt with this person sounds creepy, but what if it goes wrong? Like, I'm going to rely on this relationship. What if it doesn't work out? So I've said no, and then finally, I guess the stakes were low enough. There's a beautifully attractive older woman who asks you to go and get components for a love potion, basically because her husband can't keep up with her sexual appetites. And I was given the option I finally bring the love potion stuff back, and the husband's like, oh God. And she's like, no, just take this. You'll be fine. She's going to help us. And he's like, I told you I'm tired. And so I had the option to say, I'll take care of you. And so I did. So that was my first foray into the love love plot lines, but you maybe did this, maybe not. But the amazing thing was you go inside the house with the older woman and the husband's sitting outside, and it starts this montage of him sitting there holding a lute, and then it's nighttime and his friends are over, and it's just this constant passing of time while you're inside. And then finally, after 5 or 6 of those, you come out of the house and he's like, well, and you go, I think that'll hold her for a while.
Yeah. I also chose to make sex with the older lady. And yes, that was my favorite part. That's how I described it to Mike. I was like, and then it's just a series of crossfades as you notice the time is passing and she's in the hut. It's amazing. Yeah.
I imagine that they both Cassandra and the older woman had a very lovely time.
Yeah, Cassandra runs up and down mountains all day. She's super fit. Her sex drive has to be crazy. Yeah.
I gotta say, I got the hots for Cassandra.
Yeah. She's very attractive.
I like her.
Yeah.
So, having fun.
I'm glad.
Flirting with old ladies.
Yeah, flirting with old ladies and stabbing bears. Yep.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's fun. I like the forts are my favorite, or forts and camps both. Like, I really enjoy sneaking in bushes and killing soldiers one by one and whistling them to their doom. It was my favorite part of the last Assassin's Creed I played, and it's my favorite part of this one.
Yeah, I don't know if I expressed it on the podcast or if it was just in conversation with you, but I've historically not enjoyed the sneaking around thing in games, but I realize that it's in games where that's not really the driving mechanism. So I've been really enjoying it in this. I'm still not very good at it. Because let's just go ahead and say my personality is a melee fight personality, not a sneaky.
I think that is an accurate assessment. Accurate self-assessment there.
A lot of times with me, what you see is what you get, and what you're going to get is an ass whooping in your face. Like, that's just kind of how I operate in the world.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm always in the bushes like, psst, come here. I want to stab you in the ass.
I think this is why this is a good partnership, Teresa.
Yeah. I'll also note that I'm wearing all black today and you're dressed in lovely colors, so we're costumed appropriately for the conversation.
That's true. I will say I have a desire to wear the side braid now. Because of
good.
In Assassin's Creed.
It's worth it, I tell you, man. Pick a side. It's so worth it. It's cute. It gives you something to futz with. Oh, it's so nice.
I do. I like that she has like, it looks like
she does a fishtail. Yeah.
She does a fishtail, and then it almost looks like there might be other threads or
leather
things in there. Yeah, which is very pretty.
Yeah, I like it too.
Makes me want to wear do the side braid and attach a feather or something.
Yeah. Or like I wash my hair in olive oil, which I think is what they did. I want to try and wash my hair in olive oil and see how that goes.
Sounds like a horrible idea.
Doesn't it, though? Yeah. I mean, like, body products have come a long way since ancient Greece. Let's just say that. Yeah.
That's right. Well, we should tell everyone this is It Chooses You.
It is It Chooses You. And we have chosen things for you today. I'm Teresa Sparks.
I am Claire Patton.
There we go.
And I will edit that.
Yeah, sweet. I love it. I am Claire Patton, and I will edit that.
You guys don't even know, because I did.
You don't even know. You have no idea what you missed. Haha, that's just for us. Neener. You texted me yesterday, and you were like, do you have something for tomorrow, or should I prepare something? And I was like, no, it's my turn. I got you. Don't worry about it. Although I say that as though it's a given that, of course, I'll be prepared. But historically, that has not been the case. So it wasn't an unreasonable question. I was like, I do actually have something. I've been thinking about it all week.
You summarized both sides of that interaction perfectly.
Yep. But I love my attitude. It's like, of course, I've got it. Yeah.
I have a friend who says, trust but verify.
Mm-hmm. I think Reagan said that.
Is that Reagan? I
just
quote Ronald Reagan.
Well, I do too. I mean, it's not an unwise, if you have to pick like a couple phrases that will guide you well, trust but verify is a pretty good one.
Yeah.
If you only have enough like mental space for like 3 or 4 little maxims or, guidelines for your life, it's never make dinner plans with a certain friend of ours.
I was going to say it if you didn't.
Never make dinner plans with that friend. If you feel like crap, you probably need to take one. Trust but verify. And don't wash your hair with olive oil. I think
There you go.
That's it. That covers
Life
almost
rules.
everything. Yeah. I, this week, decided what I'm going to get you for Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about that. Mostly for like selfish reasons, which is like a perfectly Teresa Christmas. I'm excited that I came up with the idea early enough to make it happen. That is rare. And with you in particular, I'm very conscious of the gifts I give because you are a very thoughtful gift giver. And you do that thing that I love when people do it, which is just you listen to people and they say something and you hold that thing and then you go shopping with it and you find something that matches the thing they said. And it's so simple, and yet I can't fucking do it. Every time I go shopping for someone, I'm like, I don't even know what they like. Do they play lacrosse? Should I get them a lacrosse stick? No, wait, I don't think they play lacrosse. And I just lose my mind trying to buy people presents. So, yes, I came up with your gift idea. I'm very excited about it.
Well, one thing I should say about that is there are certain people that are really fun to buy gifts for.
Yeah.
And those are, A, the people you know well enough to have listened to them enough to have an idea for what might be a good gift for them. Also, you know, because there are different people like one of my cousins, for example, she's a doctor. She has money. She can buy anything she wants or needs. What's fun for me is figuring out that someone needs something when they don't know.
Yeah.
That's the best. But so for her, you know, she likes pretty things. So I get her something pretty. That's not super satisfying for me as the gift giver, which, let's face it, is the point. It's all about me in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, so you were in probably the list of 5 people that I could and enjoy doing that for.
Yeah. I don't know. It just feels like a huge success. Like,
I'm glad you're excited.
For me personally, it's a bigger deal than the election because I'm a white person, and if Trump was president, I'd be embarrassed, but I'd still be okay, mostly. Right. You know, which is sad but true. So the election, I'm like, okay, thank God. Like a little bit, slightly fewer, more reasonable people voted than fascists voted. Great. But then I was like, and I know what I'm going to get Claire for Christmas. So, yeah.
That's the headline.
Yeah.
On the Teresa HuffPost.
Yeah, that's right.
Homepage.
Christmas sorted.
And Biden won.
And, yeah. So this week, I am going to tell you, well, I'm not going to tell you about her. We're going to talk about Baba Yaga.
Great.
Yeah.
That's exciting. I had no idea what you were bringing this week.
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot. I've been really into iconography lately and sort of, you know, we've talked, I think you might have cut it out because I super whited just all over something I was talking about the other week. Just spilled whiteness just all fucking over it. Just ruined it with whiteness. But I've been into, you know, like finding folk saints, basically. Not church hierarchy approved, but yet very meaningful to people and very location specific, like rooted in place. And so in sort of reading about a bunch of different ones around the world and learning about them, I remembered my love of Baba Yaga. And I've loved her for many years. I've been terrified of her for many more than that.
Yeah.
And she feels... I feel like I'm allowed to be more involved with her because she's Eastern European and, you know, the research we've done about my family, there's something about us from there. So, and, you know, it's white and Northern European. So
right. It doesn't feel like appropriation.
Exactly. Yeah. It feels more respectful to be into her than to be into some of the other people I enjoy reading about. Though love and respect for all of them. So yes, she's, okay. So, I know that I watch Mystery Science Theater more than you watch Mystery Science Theater. There's a Mystery Science Theater episode, and as I'm about to talk about it, I'm remembering that I don't know the name of this movie. Shit. But it doesn't matter. It's a it's one of these folk stories. I think it's a Finnish movie, and it's hilarious and ridiculous, and it's very puppety and over the top, and it's a soundstage, but it's supposed to be the forest, and so there's all of that stuff going on. And in this Mystery Science Theater episode, a young female character goes into the woods and meets who we know as Baba Yaga. Mm-hmm. And I was remembering that and the images from that as I was doing this research, because one of my favorite things about her is that she lives far enough into the forest that don't go into the forest. Baba Yaga lives in the forest, but somehow she's always close enough for children to walk there in about a day. Right. So she's not that far away. Kids don't walk that fast, y'all. But so Baba Yaga is, let me start here. You're going to have to edit some sound. Go ahead. Go.
Can I first tell you what I think of when I hear Baba Yaga? Because
yes.
I'm familiar with her as a figure, but I haven't done any research. I haven't sought out stories. It's just sort of osmosis, what I've picked up. But I imagine her as, I know she's an old woman. I know she lives in the forest. What's interesting, at least in my impression of her, and you can tell me if this is correct or not, is she's kind of evil and kind of good. Is that accurate, or is she just an ominous figure?
Yeah, so she's your first hit, I think, is the correct one. She's kind of evil and she's kind of good, and she's both of those things because she fills the role in mythology what a lot of old woman deities and characters fill, which is that she's the bridge between life and death. Like, women actually make children. Women are the ones helping the mother give birth to the child. Older women, once they've raised their own children, become like wise figures in communities, and they are often the ones who are taking care of dead bodies and laying them out and preparing them for burial. And so
she's that crone figure.
Yeah.
In that realm.
Yeah. She's not, but like she's a grandmother, right? She's the crone, but she's not. Other crones are sort of have nicer sides to them. Mm-hmm. She's really not into helping you delude yourself. She's very harsh. She expects good behavior from you. And she'll scare the shit out of you. And she'll kill you and eat you. Like, that's her whole thing. She's super skinny. Her main epithet is bone-legged. Mm. So, like, she's this skeletal woman who lives in a house with chicken feet, and the house has a personality of its own and walks around without her and with her inside. She's super skinny and she eats all the time. She's constantly eating, but she stays skinny. And so there's this like insatiable thing with her.
Right.
And insatiable, if you're talking about a woman, is food, but it's also sex somehow too, right? So
comes back to Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, that's right. Food, sex, and old women. That'll be this episode. Baba Yaga, food, sex, and old women. Yeah. She also is considered to be one of the deities or, magical powers that guard the waters of life and death. So in Scandinavian, I say Scandinavian for fun. I understand it's Scandinavian, but Scandinavian makes me laugh. Mm-hmm. And I'm okay making fun of Scandinavian people, so if you're Scandinavian and you don't like us, write us a note. No one ever has. Be the first. So in Scandinavian mythology, the tripartite goddess who guard the water of life are the Norn, right? And so she's considered one of the Norn. And she also, most of the time, the stories that I found about her are of her singular, but some of them, she has an older sister and a younger sister, and all of them are named Baba Yaga. And you never meet more than one of them at a time. They're never in the room together.
Well, that's got to be a family reunion that's confusing as fuck.
Yes.
Where's Baba Yaga? Which Baba Yaga?
Which one?
The young Baba Yaga. Oh, I'm the old Baba Yaga. I know you're the old Baba Yaga, but where's the young one? She can't be here because I'm here. Oh,
so imagine that conversation, but imagine it like she owes you money, and you're like, "Where's my money?" She's like, "That's not me, Baba Yaga. The other Baba Yaga owes you money." That's some of these folklores are like, one of the reasons she seems to be in 3 parts is so that she can skip out on IOUs. So yeah, what? I'm like, I'm not able to get into the history of Slavic banking right now, so I don't understand where that comes from. But
next week's episode, folks, history of Slavic banking.
Oh my God, can you imagine? Okay, so she's the White Lady of Death and Rebirth. That's another name that she has. She's also known as the ancient goddess of old bones. And the old bones thing, it's about things we cling to, but actually finally have to let go of if we're going to continue to thrive. So when we experience a death or darkness or depression or spiritual emptiness or collapse, anything like that, we go to Baba Yaga's hut in the forest and she washes new life into us. She collects our bones, pours water on them, and sings and chants so that we're reborn. She destroys and then she resurrects. So a lot of these stories are like, everyone knows the story of Hansel and Gretel. The witch in that story is Baba Yaga.
Okay.
But that story was written after most of these. It's sort of a later version collected by Brothers Grimm. And they took her name away and they took her history away. And she just became an old lady living in the forest.
Oh, interesting.
Isn't that interesting? So it's not... Sorry. An Amazon truck is backing on the wrong side of the street and it's gonna... Okay.
I was like, is it headed towards your living room window?
It's coming fast for the window, but I'm gonna keep podcasting till the end.
Such a fucking professional.
Said no one who's ever hired me ever.
Teresa, we talked about this. This is your audio resume. Come on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't give up the game.
Don't give... Yeah. I won't give up the game, but the fact that we're calling getting and keeping a job a game is enough of an indicator, I think, for most employers, if they're paying attention.
Someone's going to hire you someday based on this podcast, and it's going to be the best job ever because they're going to know exactly who you are. There's going to be no pretense. I know that's not the point of this podcast.
No. No. Well, I've thought about it too, and my thoughts are always like, I go into job interviews now and I'm like, I'm going to be myself. I'm going to answer these questions honestly, and I'm going to be real, and I'm going to have questions for them about their corporate structure and policies. And when you do that, you don't get hired.
Right.
It's not an interview according to them. There's only one direction that the viewing goes, and they are viewing you. They are not interested in you viewing them. Yeah.
Don't put your background as a revolutionary on your resume. I don't like that.
I do not. I couldn't anyway. It would be a lie. Yeah. My God. But anyway, so like... You go to her hut in the forest, and basically she makes you confront all of your bullshit. Look at your darkest self. She embodies she's haggard, and she has a huge long nose that's so long that they say when she sleeps in bed it touches the ceiling.
Oh, wow.
Right? I mean, she's pointy. She's a pointy, unpleasant experience.
Spiky.
Yes, spiky.
Spiky person.
Yes. And she makes you see your darkest self, essentially. So let's talk about her name for a second. I'm going to keep saying Baba Yaga because I'm an American and that's how I say it. But I've seen things that suggest it's actually Baba Yaga.
Okay.
I am not going to do that because I'll end up doing it half and half.
Right. And then you'll sound like one of those people that's like trying to be authentic but really doesn't know what the hell they're doing anyway.
Yes. I would rather honestly fuck up.
Right.
Than try and do it and fail. Or like one of those people who like overpronounces French or Italian words in restaurants and you just want to kill them. So Baba Yaga is pronounced differently, like I said, but I'm going to call her Baba Yaga. And so the name Baba is, it's from Old Russian and it translates to midwife, sorceress, or fortune teller. Something in that area. Okay. But then Yaga is more complicated, and it actually has lots of different meanings. There are a large number of languages in Eastern Europe, and then dialects within those languages, and it has a huge number of meanings. So it can mean horror, shudder, chill, anger, witch, legendary evil female being, wicked wood nymph, dryad, evil woman, fury, disease, illness, to abuse continuously, to belittle, to exploit, doubt, worry, or pain.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's a bewildering array of imagery and things this woman can mean. So she's got all of those things tied up in her name, right?
She is a complex motherfucker.
She is, yes. And she is not here for your bullshit.
Yeah.
She, in my reading, she's always a female relative of a cruel female who is in a position of power over another kinder, prettier, younger female. So most of the stories are the maiden going on the journey with some advice or something from the mother to see the crone, right? Mm-hmm. And what are we going to learn as we age, as women? That kind of thing. Sometimes there's a brother in the stories, like we see in there's a Russian story, or a Slavic story rather, that became Hansel and Gretel, and there's, that's a boy and a girl in that one. So sometimes there's a brother, but most often not. Sometimes she's one woman, sometimes she's three, like I said. And she's three sisters, but unlike the other tripartite goddesses we know, who have aspects of maiden, mother, and crone. So if we think about, this goes back to, speaking of Greek, Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos, right? Mm-hmm. So who spins, who weaves, and who cuts the threads of life.
Right.
They're three and they're related. They're three in one, but one is clearly younger and one is clearly the mother and one is clearly the crone. Baba Yaga is all crone.
Right.
She's all crone. It reminded me of that Monty Python joke where winter gave spring and summer a miss and jumped straight on into autumn. It's like she's got nothing for spring and summer. She's like autumn and winter. That's where it's at.
Right.
Yeah, she's amazing. So she lives, like I said, in a deep, dark forest that's somehow close enough to walk to pretty quickly. She lives in a hut with chicken legs, and the hut has its own personality. It's said that the windows look like eyes, and the door is like a mouth, and that it has this independent intelligence, and that it can understand language, human language, and respond to things that people outside the hut say. And it's said that the smoke that comes from the chimney is evidence that it's thinking. Like, it's thinking really hard. There's a lot of smoke coming from the chimney today.
This sounds like a goddamn Miyazaki film,
Isn't
what?
Uh-huh. Isn't it amazing? Yeah.
This sounds like some Kiki's Delivery Service, My Neighbor Totoro.
Uh-huh.
Kind of shit.
Yes, that's right. It's a cat, right? Don't they travel in a cat in that one?
Yeah. Totoro is like a cat thingy guy.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, the bus is a cat.
Cat bus. Yeah.
Oh, cat bus,
Oh, cat bus. Yeah, exactly.
I love it. It's so batshit. I love it.
It's also like, it's something humans have made. And so, like, our thought, our ability to think, our engagement with the world is somehow a part of the things we make. I really like that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because, don't get me wrong, I love, obviously, finding meaning. I'm very familiar with the sort of fairy tale, folklore, mythological structure. But I love it when there's just this little crazy detail. Mm-hmm. Like, oh yeah, and our house is alive. Like, what?
Yeah. And uncommented on, right? It's just like, you went to it, they went in the hut on chicken legs, turned around and faced her and kneeled so she could go in the door. Like, sure. Yep. Sounds about right.
I love it.
So the fence around her home is made of human bones with skulls with flaming eyes as the posts,
Sure.
The gate outside her house is made of human bones with a hand for a bolt and a face and a jawbone for a lock. And I mean, it's just, it's scary. She's scary. She can fly, but she doesn't fly on a broom. Okay. She flies in a mortar and uses a pestle to steer. So yeah, exactly. That's right. She's like, fuck your broom, man. I need something more substantial than that. So she holds the pestle in her right hand as the rudder, and she sweeps away her tracks with a birch branch in her left hand. Now, why would she make tracks in the sky?
That's what I was going to ask.
Great question. But also, it doesn't matter because the point is, you're not allowed to know where she goes. That ain't your business.
That's the point. You're right. That is the point. Because I'm like trying to figure out the logic of that. But no, the point is none of your fucking business.
That's right. You don't get to know where she goes all day. She has iron teeth, okay? So they're pointy and they stick out of her mouth sometimes. But the stories about her eating are all about her grinding you, not tearing you. And that became really important to me because, like, if you tear someone apart, sure, it's gory, but the pieces are recognizably human. She's like, nah, I grind you into powder. I'm going to turn you into compost. Right. No one's ever going to know you were a person. Like, that's how complete her death, like, the death she will inflict on you. And I think there's something like, you have to die that completely in order to be reborn in a new situation. Right. If you're just torn apart by wolves, you might get reborn, but you're still going to be the same piece of shit you were before. She's like doing it at a molecular level, like breaking apart the bonds, you know? She's like, no, you're in teeny pieces now. Okay,
we have to separate you atom by atom in order to rebuild you better.
That's right. Yes. Please cut out all of the shit where I pause and have to find my place. I find that so annoying.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
No, I usually cut it out.
You do. I'm self-conscious. I have 17,000.
Are you afraid you're going to piss Baby Yaga off? Baby Yaga.
Oh, we're leaving that in. Because...
Baby Yaga.
Well, now guess what you're getting for Christmas. Now that's what you're getting for Christmas. You've completely supplanted my earlier idea, Baby Yaga.
I will grind your bones.
Mm-hmm. Tiny, and cute, but also menacing. Ooh, I love it, Baby Yaga. She's always hungry. She demands that you complete impossible tasks, like filling a bathtub with a sieve, and if you don't, she'll kill you and eat you. Okay? So, it's a test. She's a test. She offers tests, right? There's this other thing where if she flies over you, going back to her flying in a mortar and pestle, if she flies over your, like, storms sort of spring up in her wake, which kind of negates the point of sweeping her tracks out of the sky with the birch wand, but again... This is outside. It's not actually.
Baba Yaga's message is, don't worry about it.
If she flies over your hut, you'll have nightmares, or like the milk in your cows will curdle in the udder.
Well, it's not my fault she flew over my house.
It's not, but that's the kind of energy. She's like, I'll just bring destruction with me wherever I go, and you just have to fucking deal with it. One of the pieces of her stories that tends to be pretty consistent, at least in the ones I found, is that her house is bigger on the inside than it is on the outside.
Love it.
Yep.
Just like the TARDIS.
Just like the TARDIS. And she has a stove that takes up one entire wall of her house. And she actually sleeps on a sheepskin on top of the stove because it's the warmest place. And it's important to remember, like, Eastern Europe has winters that last forever. Northern Europe. Super cold, super dark, very snowy, very long winters. Mm-hmm. Cold is a real killer. So her having a giant stove and using, like, a tool that is a woman's tool of labor in those cultures to make herself super fucking comfortable, I love that about her. She's like, well, if I'm going to have to cook all day, I'm going to sleep in the warmest spot in the house, which is on top of the stove that I've been cooking. But she doesn't have to cook all day because she's Baba fucking Yaga. Okay. Oh, so I need to give credit. I should have done this at the top, but I'll do it now. The podcast of Myths and Men did a little piece on her that I reference a couple times, and this is something they say. They say, perhaps most relatably, she never wears pants at home. She's always described as having her bony legs sticking out. Doesn't wear pants at home. And that I love her so much. Depending on her mood, which changes regularly, she can be helpful or she can be a hindrance. She can do it on purpose or accidentally, because she's always doing her own thing. She's not sitting in a house waiting for heroes to come and ask for blessings or whatever. That's not what she's doing.
She ain't got time for that shit.
She ain't got time for that shit. She's handling her business. Yeah. She also, and this is of Myths and Men as well, they say she has the ability to smell, quote, the Russian scent on her visitors. And they say we're not clear if she can identify any other nationality by smell or if it's only Russians. And they also say that they imagine the Russian scent to be stale vodka, sadness, and fire. And I was like, I like that. I will. Yes, I'm going to say that. I'm going to say that. I'm going to repeat it. Retweet. Jane Yolen wrote a verse novel called Finding Baba Yaga. And she says that Baba Yaga delights in the ones who stick out their tongues, laugh at death threats, use foul language, and never beg.
Oh, my kind of woman.
Yeah. She's kind of a badass. Sometimes she'll eat children if they come to her hut, but sometimes she'll help them win justice over an unjust situation at home. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's not that she hates kids. There's it's not the age of the person. She has a code of ethics, I think is what I'm getting at. She has a way she believes the world should be, and she has a way that she demands people treat her. And if you do those things, you might survive. And if you don't, she will grind you into atoms. Like, she's so great. Okay.
Can you describe a little bit of like what she expects, or what are some of the guiding principles that are a part of like through lines in her stories?
Yes, I can. I actually have the most often told, most referenced. I have a version of that story to read a little later. So can we just hop in on that one? Great.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. When I searched for her on a popular bastion of corporate oligarchy shopping site, the first two results were for books of folktales, and the third was for an age-defying night cream.
Is it Baba Yaga night cream?
Apparently, yes. And
she's not known for her beauty, so I don't know if I would purchase that.
Do you not want to turn into Baba Yaga? Use this cream. You're looking a little bit Baba today. You might want to use this cream.
Hey, you got a little Yaga on your cheek.
Yeah. There's also a Baba Yaga perfume made by a European perfumer that comes in like a specially sculpted tree, like withered, gnarled tree bottle. I don't know if that's relevant. I very much want to smell it. Again, stale vodka, sadness, and fire.
Do they say what it...
They say it's woodsy, and that's all they give you. And I was like, well, of course it's fucking woodsy. It's Baba Yaga. Yeah. So here's the thing. If I've directly quoted, or if I'm like stealing someone's idea that is a fresh take on her, I have referenced my source. But it's folk stories, okay? My version of this folk story is no less valid than any of the versions I looked up. And so I'm kind of not hung up on citing all of my sources.
Are you saying that you read a bunch of stuff and then sort of distilled it down in your...
That's right.
way?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
If I directly quote, I try and credit, but with all these folk stories, like the whole point is that they belong to all of us. Some of these people say that she's very clearly a Kali type goddess, where she's like brings about destruction for your own good, because you can't turn into something else unless the thing you are is destroyed. And I really like that idea. She offers you various choices, and we'll get into this in the story. But she's always like, she is not allowed to lie, and I think she has to keep her promises. And so if you ask her things, she's required, whatever her ethos is, telling the truth is a part of it.
Okay.
Which I find really interesting, because she's not a trickster. Like, she has very rigid, actually, morals and ethics that she operates by. And it's interesting because one of them is that it's okay to kill and eat children if they annoy you. So that I have some distance from it, but I'm intrigued by it. And it clearly is like internally consistent, at least somehow, which I'm interested in. Baba Yaga is not a nice, clean, civilized goddess. Let's just wrap up this part with that. When we work with her, we take the path deep into the forest and face the mysteries of death, and either die or emerge with a new light of wisdom. Ultimately, her age, her separation from society, those things, most of these sort of folklorists say that indicates wisdom. I was like, separating from society sounds smart to me, of all the things. Okay, so I'm going to try and tell you this story rather than read you this story, because I think it'll be much better. So this is the story of Baba Yaga and Vasilia the Fair. Okay, this is a very common version of a Baba Yaga story. So Vasilia the Fair lost her mother at a young age, and she and her father were very happy together, loved each other very much. Everything was great. Before her mother died, her mother had given her a doll, a little rag doll that looked like every other little rag doll. But her mother said, as long as you feed it and give it milk every night, it'll advise you and it'll keep you safe no matter what. And so
Rag gift.
Rag gift. So Vasilia's like, sure, great. And so every night she fed her little doll some biscuit and some milk, and the doll would wake up after Vasilia had gone to sleep and eat a little biscuit and drink a little milk and look at Vasilia and smile and then go to sleep herself. So when you were like, they just drop in this super magical thing, that's kind of this. It's like, oh, and also she had a sentient doll. Okay. So she had this doll. When she's like 10 or something, her father remarries. And of course, her stepmother is wicked. Her stepmother has 2 daughters who come and live with them. And they all hate Vasilia because Vasilia is beautiful and kind and they are pieces of shit. Okay. Vasilia turns 16 and her father's like, I have to go travel for work for a month. I have a conference in Houston I gotta go to. Whatever. And Vasilia's like, oh my God, no, please take me with you. These people are so, she doesn't tell him this, but she's like, oh, please take me with you. Don't leave me here. But he doesn't know that they're mean to her. And so he's like, you wouldn't enjoy Houston. It's a terrible place. I'm not taking you. So she's
Why
like, okay.
Are the dads always so fucking clueless? Like,
what a great question. See, I'm looking for someone who's done a dissertation on that. Clueless fathers in fairy tales.
Yeah, I'm living with a fucking pack of mean girl jackals here.
That's right. That's right.
And you don't think I'd enjoy Houston? I like shopping. I like fine dining. God.
Jesus, Dad.
Yeah. Dad.
So, Dad. But she would never do that because she is the good daughter. Ding. So no sooner is he out the door than the stepmother's like, he. Hey, daughter number 1, Katya, right? Katya, go sew a button on my dress. I have tasks for all of you today. Hey, Tanya, second daughter, go to the kitchen and roll out some pastry. I'm going to make some dinner. Hey, Vasilia, go to Baba Yaga's hut and get us a light. I ran out of fire.
Okay, those are not equal tasks.
That's correct. Yeah, I mean, there's no equity here. Also, Vasilia looks around and she's like, there's a fire in the fucking fireplace. What are you talking about? We don't have a fire. There's fire right here. But no, the mother's like, no, go do it. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out.
I need some of Baba Yaga's gourmet fire.
Right, exactly. She's going to Baba Yaga's boutique fire store.
That's right. It's right next to the butter store.
That's right. Nice callback.
That's it, yeah. For everyone who doesn't know, it's a reference to Vampires versus the Bronx, the fantastic film on Netflix, where there is a butter store as their neighborhood is horrifyingly gentrified.
So Vasilia's like, oh no. She didn't even have time to put a coat on before she left, and she's out there and she's got her little doll in her pocket. And the story's like, and then Vasilia takes the doll out of her pocket where it had been sleeping. So like the sentience of this doll is it's happening and it's never questioned. The doll was sleeping in her pocket all day. Great. So she pulls the doll out and she's like, the fuck am I gonna do? She just sent me to Baba Yaga's hut. I'm scared to death. And the doll says, be as brave as you are kind. It'll be okay. Have faith. Keep going. Nothing bad will happen to you. And she's like, okay, cool. Dolly says so. Must be true.
I think the doll's lying. I'm just going to call it now. That doll is full of shit.
No, this is Chucky. It's not Chucky. This is a little doll with a dress on who eats biscuits and milk. It's not right. Chucky. Okay. So Vasilia's like, okay. And so she's like, I'm going to screw up my courage and I'm going to walk down this path. And she heads into the forest, right? And she's only in the forest for a little bit before she hears a horse come up behind her. And she gets out of the way. She doesn't want to be trampled by a horse. And she sees a rider in a scarlet red cloak riding by really, really fast on the way to Baba Yaga. So she's like, okay. And she walks a little bit more. And then she hears hoof beats behind her again. And a rider in a white cloak zips by her really fast on the way to Baba Yaga's. She's like, okay. Sure. And she keeps walking. And a little while later, of course, the rule of threes, the third rider comes up behind her. And this time it's a rider with a midnight black cloak riding hell for leather toward Baba Yaga's hut. And she's like, wow, okay, this is Lots of people on horseback here in the middle of the untrackable forest, but
yeah, I mean,
Bob,
let's face it, probably the most exciting thing that's happened in that little piece of road.
I know. The squirrels are going to be talking about it for generations. Remember that time 3 horses came by in one day? Oh my God, my grandma told me about it. Okay, so it's becoming dark, getting dark, right? Dark in the forest. She's been walking all day, 10 miles or whatever. And she comes to Baba Yaga's hut, and oh my God. So the fence is made of bones. There are skulls with flames in the eyes on top of the fence. She's scared to death, but she opens the gate and she walks up to the chicken house. It's not chicken house, the hut with chicken legs. And the hut with chicken legs turns around, kind of looks at her, cocks its little attic area, puffs a thought or two, and then kneels. She's like, okay. I'm going in. She goes up. Vasilia comes up to the hut, and Baba Yaga's nose is out first, and then Baba Yaga follows. And she's like, state your business. What do you want? And she's like, I'm so scared. Please don't, please. And Baba Yaga's like, for real? What the it's night. You're bothering me. Why are you here? And she's like, oh, okay. No, I'll get it together. I just came. My mother told me to come and get fire from you because we don't have any fire, even though we do actually have fire. My mother's a piece of shit. But she told me to come and get fire from you. Can you please give me fire? And Baba Yaga's like, oh, okay, sure. You can call me Babushka. And it says like she's nice to her suddenly. That's like grandmother, like a friendly word for grandmother.
You're in.
You're in. And she's like, okay, I'm in. Come on, kid. Come in my hut. I'll see about getting you your fire. But, I think I'm going to set some tasks for you first, okay? So I'm going to set you these tasks, and if you complete them to my satisfaction, I'll give you fire and send you home. But if you don't, I'll cook and eat you. Sound good? And Vasilia's like, sure. I'm a little kid, and you have me trapped in your chicken hut. I can't get out. It's alive, and it shut the door behind me. So yeah, sure, I guess that's fine. I'll work with it. No problem.
Well,
okay.
I'm here now.
Yeah, exactly. So in another version so this is this version I'm telling you, but in another version, Vasilia tells Baba Yaga that she's there for fire, and Baba Yaga asks why she should give it to her, and Vasilia consults with the doll, and then says, because I asked for it, which is the right answer, says the story. Yeah. So like, you should give it to me because I fucking asked for it. Like, Baba Yaga is into you not mincing words. So the witch sits down to supper and says, hey, bring me some food. Vasilia goes and gets food, and she says, so tomorrow I'm going to have you clean the house and make a pumpkin soup. And also see these 4 giant sacks of peas. I hate it when the black peas and the white peas touch. They need to be separated by color by the time I get home. And Vasilia's like, God. It's like a fucking million peas. You got to be kidding. I don't know how I'm going to possibly do it. She's like, okay, I'll try, no problem. So in the morning, Baba Yaga wakes up, immediately has a glass of strong brown ale. So Baba Yaga's a day drinker. And then she gets in her pestle and she flies away, right? Where's she going, Claire? Where's she going? It's not our business. We don't know where she goes because it's not our fucking business. Vasilia's like, okay. She cleans, she cooks, and she's like, I really got to get started on these peas. The time's a wasted. And then she hears hoofbeats outside. She's like, oh my God, is Baba Yaga back early? I'm not done. What's going to happen to me? But then the rider in red rides all the way around the hut and then rides away. And Vasilia looks down and the peas are separated into black and white. The rider in red had done that for her.
Right.
Okay. She's like, oh, thank God. So Baba Yaga comes home from work, I guess. She has a job. Baba Yaga comes home from her office job. She was actually supposed to go to that conference in Houston, but for some reason her ticket got swapped or something, so she's in a really bad mood. She's like, I'm supposed to be in Houston with your dad right now.
That's weird because I've always heard that Baba Yaga worked remotely, but I mean, whatever.
So
I thought she was like an Uber driver.
Yes, in her pestle.
But not an employee.
In her mortar and pestle. No, not an employee. She works for herself. She's an independent contractor. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Baba Yaga comes home. She's like, oh my gosh, you separated these peas. I see you're a really good worker. Well, tomorrow you're going to make pea soup out of these. And then you're going to fill up the water tank with fresh water. Here you go. Here's a bucket. And Vasilia looks at the bucket and it's a sieve. And she's like, the fuck? So she goes to sleep, and all night she's like, how the fuck? I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to try. And she talks to the doll, and she's like, is this? And the doll's like, it's cool. Just keep trying. No worries. She has to be honest with you. She's not going to kill you if you do these things. Do your best. And so the next morning, Baba Yaga wakes up, has a beer, and then drives to work. And Vasilia's like, okay. She makes the pea soup, she gets it on the stove, and then she goes down to the spring, and she's trying to carry sieves of water to fill the tank, and of course she's not getting anywhere, and she's like, but all I can do is keep trying, and then she hears hoofbeats. And the rider in white comes, and drives up, and grabs the sieve, and throws the sieve at the house, and then rides away, and when Vasilia goes into the house, the water tank has been filled with fresh water. So Baba Yaga comes home from work, dips her finger in the tank, and is like, oh my gosh, you did it. That's amazing. Okay, cool. You're doing great.
Like, I'm not going to drink it because I only drink ale, but yeah, sure, that's great.
Sometimes the chickens need water. I don't know. She's like, oh, this is doing really great. So tonight, here's what you need to do for me, Vasilia, says Baba Yaga. Tonight, you need to count the stars. And then tomorrow morning, if you tell me how many stars there are, I'll let you go. I'll give you fire and I'll send you home. Oh, sure. Vasilia's like, fuck. Fuck, old lady. But she lays in bed and it moves her cot out to a balcony or something and is looking at the stars laying in bed. And she's like, she get up to like 100, but then she's like, I'm not sure if I already counted that one. And Baba Yaga's like, it has to be the exact number, one more or one less, and you're toast. She's like, fuck. So she's counting, but then she falls asleep. But in her dreams, the rider in black comes and whispers in her ear this incredibly high, very specific number. And she's like, okay, well, that's all I got. So she wakes up in the morning and Baba Yaga says, so, how many stars are there in the sky? And she says the exact number. And Baba Yaga is furious and her eyes light up like the flames in the skull. Who told you that? Night must have told you that. And then she's like, well, yeah, but you said I could, and now I'm going to eat you because I hate you. Well, yeah, but you said that if I did these things, you're going to let me go. And Baba Yaga sort of stops and she's like, oh yeah, I did say that, didn't I? Well, I guess. Okay, well, yeah, okay. I said that, and also, obviously, morning, day, and night were helping you the whole time, which tells me that your spirit is in harmony with the natural world, so you must be okay, kid. So, okay, I'm not going to eat you. I'll send you home tonight. And this is the part of the story that really confuses me, because, like, she's done the night task. She had 2 day tasks and a night task. You end with the one that's different from the others. Good storytelling. And then it's morning, and instead of sending her home to walk home during the day, she's like, when I come back from work, I'll send you home. But she doesn't give her a task. So Vasilia's just hanging out in Baba Yaga's hut all day, talking with the chicken house, I guess. Waiting for Baba Yaga to come home from work. Checking her Instafeed, that's right. Just doom scrolling all day long. Or searching how to escape Baba Yaga's house. And then Baba Yaga comes home at night and is like, here you go. Thank you so much. You're awesome. Take this skull. It'll light your way home. No one will hurt you because you'll be carrying a flaming fucking skull. I've marked you as safe. Whatever. Go home. And so Vasilia's like, thanks. So nice to meet you. She goes home and she knocks on the door and she hears them come to the door. Like, who is it? Who can it possibly be? It's not Vasilia. Vasilia's dead. And they open the door and the skull flames like that and turns the evil stepmother and the 2 evil stepsisters to ash.
Nice. That's what you get.
That's what you get. Don't mess with me. And Vasilia's like, oh. And then sweeps up their ashes. Get a little dustpan out. Make sure she gets all their ashes. And then the father comes home in 6 weeks or something. And she's like, I went out into the woods one day. And when I came back, they were gone. There was no evidence of them. I have no idea where they went. And she and her father lived happily ever after. So.
That's my favorite fairy tale I've ever heard. I want you to redo all fairy tales and folk tales.
I have a really good time redoing them. I enjoy it a lot. Because that's the point, is like, it's fun that they're in arcane language or older style, and like, there's a particular flavor to that. But the whole point is that there's supposed to be moral lessons we can use today. Right. And so you do that by using like colloquial speech of the day, which I understand calling it colloquial speech is not actually using the language of the day. So I'm appreciating the irony of that as well as, the other things that are happening. But yeah, I like that one a whole lot. And there's another, there's somebody out there who's talking about this doll and what the hell the doll, what is that? What function does it serve in the story, right? And so we talked about the mother giving the maiden something to help them as they grow older and on this journey to becoming a crone. And so that seems clear. It's a gift from her mother. But also, she has to feed it and give it breadcrumbs every night or biscuits every night. And so she's in constant touch with it. She's not allowed to forget about it. She has to keep it present and relate to it. And so I found another thing that was well, this is her intuition. This is how her mother is teaching her to connect with herself and trust her intuition and, take a little bit of care of an important part of her every day, etc. And it's her intuition that's actually no, you're going to be fine, Bobby. I can't lie. Be as brave as you are pretty. Get the fuck out there and go do something,
Yeah.
And I really, really like that about it. Now, one aspect of a folk story is the moral, right? And so, what is the moral of this story? Listen to a living doll? That's a tough moral to follow in today's world. Pay attention to the rag doll that talks to you in your sleep. But maybe listen to your elders and be respectful and then you'll be okay. And there's this idea that if she had gone to Baba Yaga and said what the other story recommended, which is why should I give you fire? Because I asked for it.
Yeah.
Maybe that would not have turned out so well for her. Instead of please, we are so cold. We need help. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's a really common and my favorite, I think, Baba Yaga story.
Well, and there's also this theme of being in touch with the natural world that comes up a lot in Baba Yaga stories as well. There's no instruction on how to do that in the story, which is probably because that was something a lot of people just did.
Well, yeah. if you're a farmer, you're gonna learn to recognize when it's gonna hail. If there are clues, someone will have noticed them and written them down, or kept them in the oral tradition. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's also this thing about Baba Yaga knows every herbal remedy there is. She can cure any ailment. She knows how to cure any ailment. It's just she won't tell you. Yeah. But she knows how to do it. And I think about that when witch used to just mean wise, right? And so you have all these old women out there who have paid attention and who have been taught by their doing this woman's work of being in the herbal room and making remedies and tinctures and salves and things like that, and helping the ladies of the village with their issues or whatever. And then suddenly that's considered black magic, right? You can't have powerful women. You can't have powerful women wandering around. That won't do it all. Yeah. Yeah.
As we've said before.
As you've said before, you do it so well. It's so good. Oh my God.
There's a peeved white man living inside of me, Teresa. It's about time I reveal that to you.
He's all mustache, that guy. He's all
he
mustache.
Really is. He's a walrus.
He's a big, this kind of mustache.
Yeah.
That's all I have on Baba Yaga.
That's fantastic. I just want to know if you want to tell the folks at home about Granny Weatherwax and whether there's any connection for you between Baba Yaga and Granny Weatherwax.
Of course. I mean, a crone is a crone is a crone, right? They all kind of serve the same purpose with different flavors, no matter where they crop up, I think. And Granny Weatherwax is, of course, my favorite crone ever, because she's the one I got to know first and best. The stories of crones aren't really told that frequently. You get a lot of maiden stories and a few mother stories, but crone stories, not so much. So Terry Pratchett, of course, wrote the Discworld novels, and all of the novels that are about witches are Granny Weatherwax, who's the crone, Nanny Ogg, who's the mother, and Magrat, who's the maiden. And
I love that name for a maiden, because it's usually Vidalia onion or whatever you said.
Flower. This is flower. Yeah, exactly.
This is Cinderella.
Yeah. This is why it's good for comic writers to take on these tropes and write about them, because Magrat's name is Magrat because her mother misspelled it. It was so shy and misspelled it when she handed it to somebody. And they're like, well, you can't change her name now because the name's already been spoken and those ceremonies actually do have power. Her name is Magrat now. I'm like, shit. Oh, and even better, this is not a crone thing, but when Magrat had a baby, Magrat was so concerned that the person saying the name get it right that she wrote, the baby's name is Margaret, note spelling, whatever. And the person read out, Margaret Note Spell, whatever. She's like, great, that's her name. They're going to fucking call her Spelly at school. God damn it. Anyway, yeah, Granny Weatherwax is, I love her very much. She is one of the reasons that I have decided to go back to school to study what I'm studying. The idea that helping someone, it's possible to help someone, and for those of us of a particular construction or persuasion, it's actually much easier to help them if you don't simultaneously have to be nice to them. Like help and nice are not the same thing. And if you want nice, Nanny Og is always there with a beer and a hug. But that's not Granny Weatherwax's deal. She's like, I will help you in spite of yourself. And I've been around longer, and I know more than you do. And she has this line. She says, a witch should never be frightened in the darkest forest, because she should be sure in her very soul that the most frightening thing in the forest is her.
Nice.
And I was like, yep. I aspire to that. Yeah.
Well, I find this kind of character and trope inspiring and terrifying at the same time, which I think is the point.
Yes. I mean, that's why she's powerful, because she carries all of this knowledge and all of this goodness, and she has access to that. But she's not here for your bullshit. She's not interested in whatever little story you have going. Whatever story you have going becomes Baba Yaga's story the minute you're in her presence. Like, she takes over. And that's how powerful she is she can just immediately take over your story. And she's like, now the rules are this. Are you going to learn them quickly enough? You going to be able to do that? Or am I going to eat you? I just fucking love it. Yeah, but she's terrifying. I mean, I don't want to go visit her, because going to visit her means you will die. Like, some part of you will die.
Yeah.
Are you ready to let go of what part that is? If you're not, that's incredibly painful.
Yeah.
There's risk involved. And you might get it wrong. What if you go and you find out you're actually a namby-pamby kind of person, and she's like, I have no respect for you, chomp. That's also a possibility, right? So when you find yourself in need of true wisdom, when you find yourself being too nice, too polite in the face of ongoing boundary violations, when you find yourself stagnated by the expectations of others, it might be time to brave the forest and meet Baba Yaga.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Teresa.
Well, thanks for letting me talk about her.
Well, thank you, everyone, for listening this week.
Yay.
We will be back next week, and until then. And until then.
Testing. Great. Thank you for listening to It Chooses You. Your hosts are Teresa Sparks and Claire Patton. Our theme song is by Bobby Dart. If you'd like to get in touch with us, drop us an email at itchoosesyoupodcast@gmail.com.